Hello, friends. On the 11th of April, 1970, a rocket launched for the Apollo 13 mission from Kennedy Space Center in America. 3 astronauts were on it, going to the moon. But the interesting thing was that not even a year had passed since the day when Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon for the first time. This was already the 3rd NASA mission to send humans to the moon. Seeing the success of the last 2 missions, the astronauts in this rocket were very confident about their mission and their dream. Their dream was to set foot on the moon, but at that time they were unaware that their dream would never come true. In April 1970, when their spacecraft was about 330,000 kilometers away from the Earth, they heard a loud bang suddenly, a huge bang that shook the entire spacecraft. Within a few seconds, the warning lights and alarms start going on, loudly. It was found that one of the oxygen tanks had burst and the other oxygen tank was leaking rapidly. Jack Swigert's voice came through the radio. "Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here." Houston replied, "This is Houston, say again, please." Then Jim Lovell confirmed, "Houston, we have a problem." The mission control on the ground couldn't believe it. They believed that the instruments were malfunctioning, but the astronauts in the spacecraft could see through the window that the air was leaking. On the other hand, they see that because of the blast, the spacecraft had shifted from its path so much that it was going kilometers away from the Earth every second. Within a few hours, the astronauts in Apollo 13 were so far away from the Earth that it became a new record. To date, no human has gone so far from the Earth as these 3 astronauts did during the Apollo 13 mission. Forget landing on the moon, the question back then was whether they could return to Earth alive. This is the distressing story of Apollo 13. Carbon dioxide levels in the module are rising. The crew were beginning to suffer. It was a dire state. It was a really emergency situation. In 1961, American President John F. Kennedy promised the world that before the end of the decade, he would have humans on the moon. John F. Kennedy, VO, achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. This promise should be seen in the context of the Cold War. At that time, America and the Soviet Union were engaged in a space race. Who will be the leader in the field of technology? In 1969, both Apollo 11 and Apollo 12 missions were successful. Astronauts did not only step on the moon, but also safely return to Earth. Kennedy's promise was fulfilled.